Mr. Young and foreign.
Kick to the gut!
Your podcast sucks!
Yo, what's going on? Hey, it's Mr. Young.
And it's for in the building. How are you, my brother?
Oh, I'm good. Hey, so much to talk about in terms of the pro wrestling scene right now. Good stuff, not so good stuff. Before we do anything though, we want to say thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. And early bird shoutouts right now, okay? Tovakin, what's up? Edison, already in chat. Hello. Muhammad Daniel, yo, OG fan. I love it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. As always, if at any point you need to, say something, you have really strong feelings and deep thoughts about what we're talking about, leave it into the chat, okay?
Yeah, man. Bro, I'm so jealous that you can read the chat on live right now.
Yes.
So I always have to rely on you to see what we chat. There's a couple people that gave me some shout-outs like a few weeks ago. I completely missed it.
Oh, yeah?
I can't see the chat.
All right, and they're like, yo, this foreigner, wow, so atas, don't want to shout me out. Okay, I'll try my best to relay everybody's messages, okay? Edison, Edison says he misses us so much. Hopefully his connection in camp is not rabak.
Oh man, okay, we tried. Don't worry, your connection can't be worse than mine, so it's fine.
Oh, thank you very much, Tovakin, for saying that. Yeah, he likes my shirt, by the way. A little old school throwback, Donkey Kong. I think it might be too old for you.
Yeah, no lah, I know Donkey Kong,
but
bro.
It's like Sesame Street inspired Donkey Kong.
Yeah, man. So I am rocking a local brand,
yes,
the one that did our shirt, BIA Athletics. So support local, bro.
That's right. Shout out to Bharat from BIA Athletic, by the way. Awesome guy. Go check out their gear, all right? Hashtag not sponsored, but hey, maybe in the future once again. Sahus, how you doing, man? Oh, he's coming in hot. Bro, he's coming in hot with the comment of the night, I think. Flair is just being Flair. Oh, boy. Are we going down this rabbit hole now? Are we going to jump right in?
Bro, I think we got to waste no time. We got to address the elephant or the helicopter dick in the room. Let's just start.
Okay, see, we laugh about it, but it's not funny. You know what I mean? Like the visual is a funny visual, but in terms of what was done, that shit don't fly. Not about don't fly today. It should have never flown. See what I did there? Airplane puns and everything. Nice. I didn't intend to do that, but it just came out naturally. By the way, very quick mention, do drop us a follow. Hit like on that like button if you haven't already. Hit subscribe. And yes, follow us on our socials. Kick to the Guts. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook as well. And in case you missed any part of today's podcast, you can always listen to it on demand on Spotify when we post up the episode. Spotify and all other, podcast platforms lah. But yeah,
we've just hit a milestone, bro. If I'm not wrong, we have just hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, bro. Finally.
Oh shit!
Slow and steady, bro, wins the race.
Woo-hoo! Hey, we thank each and every one of you. We couldn't have done it without you. All right. Now let's talk about the dark side of the ring, the
plane ride from hell.
I love it, bro. I love it. More sound effects, please.
Fatality.
Hey,
say foreign, bro.
It's foreign in the building.
Hey.
Yes.
You like.
I like.
Cheap thrills right there. Okay, plane ride from hell. To be honest, when the episode first came out and then social media just like went crazy about it, right? I was like, okay. Because to be honest, I've heard this story before because I listened to like the 83 Weeks podcast. What's the other fella? Bruce Pritchard's podcast. Something to wrestle with. Oh, I used to anyway. I haven't had the time to listen to them anymore. But I've sort of heard bits and pieces of this story before. Now that it's put together in like a documentary for everybody to see, I guess it's a little bit more like it hits home, especially because they interviewed the flight stewardess on on that flight, right?
Yeah, I think the new angle that Dark Side of the Ring brought to this entire discussion was nobody talk about the air stewardess and how they felt and their experience dealing with all this bunch of crazy ass wrestlers, right?
Yeah, I mean, all the other tellings of these tales were all like, oh, you know, this guy was an idiot, that guy was an idiot. I think one of the scariest lines, in fact, things that was mentioned on the show was RVD when he mentioned that, yeah, you know, some of the boys were known to slip drinks into girls. I mean, not slip drinks, sorry, slip pills into girls' drinks and stuff like that, you know, just to like whatever, right? I'm like, yo, that is a very damning thing. And it's not just about like wrestlers being bad, it's just people being bad, right? I think we can agree, like, unfortunately, very unfortunately, this happens across the board. This is not just a wrestling thing, let's be very clear, but it's still horrible to hear about, to read about, and I'm sure it is horrible to experience as well.
Yeah, I think a lot about what Undertaker said on Joe Rogan, you know, when they say that he missed the times when men were men, and then he doesn't like the fact that the new roster are playing video games. But then again, it's not really all nostalgic and great, you know. There is certain bad things that should be left in the past, and this is one of them. This kind of culture.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? It's like, you know, that whole idea of boys being boys, right? Like, I mean, thankfully, we live in an age where we know a little bit better and we can look back and go, oh my God, we were such horrible savages, you know, back in the day, right? And not just men and women as well, you know. It just depends on the whole situation. But yeah, just that whole retelling of the story and the fallout from it, okay? In case you don't know what happened on the plane ride to hell, quick summary, perhaps, Foreign. They were in the UK, they did the Insurrection pay-per-view, and when they were supposed to fly back to the US, they got delayed. So guess what the boys did on the plane? And this is like a private chartered plane, by the way.
Yes, that's correct. And also, one thing that a lot of people forget, right, in terms of the details, it wasn't just like they flew from the US to UK, did the pay-per-view and came back. That was the tail end of a long, at least 2-3 week tour. So they actually went to other countries. And from what the documentary mentioned is the crew, the air stewardess and the private charter company that brought all these wrestlers were the same ones that followed them throughout the tour. So they kind of would have gotten to know them towards the end of the tour by then.
But the quote-unquote plane ride from hell was the last leg, as it were, of the trip. And I guess because they wanted to unwind, because it was the last one. Hey, we're done. All right, let's celebrate, right? They can't go to the bar and celebrate while they celebrate on the plane. And, well, they had way too much to drink. Okay, hijinks. Like, X-Pac cutting Michael Hayes' hair. Like, okay, fine, whatever, right? Putting the whipped cream on the forehead. Yeah, sure, pranks, I get it. Kurt Hennig and Brock Lesnar, like that one might have gotten a little bit overboard because apparently Kurt Hennig did the whipped cream thing to Brock Lesnar, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, and splattered the head.
Yeah, and then Brock Lesnar got pissed off, started like, you know, trying to grab him, tackle him, and then they were like, quote unquote, play fighting all the way to the fuselage area, the emergency area, exit area, and everyone got scared because you're talking about Brock Lesnar. Like, dude is huge. Can you imagine that these two huge giants banging each other? Oh, that sounds so wrong. But banging each other against the exit door of a plane. And this is a smaller plane. This is not like a giant Boeing. But still, even on a giant Boeing plane, it'll still be scary AF, right?
Sometimes when you see Brock Lesnar in the ring, you forget how explosive he can be. Because even though he's a big size guy.
Yeah.
Imagine him explode out of the seat. Like banging into like Kurt Hennig and like having them wrestle. It's like two gorillas in a cage, bro.
Yeah, in a giant tube cage in the air, by the way, that's flying overseas, okay? Banging. How freaking scary must that have been? So, okay.
Yeah.
Like
But jokes aside, right, bro? If you think about it, right, even though that was crazy to see, imagine if we gotten that match in the ring. Kurt Hennig versus Brock Lesnar. What a dream match, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, that ship has obviously sailed, right? But it's like, okay, all these things, like, it's like, okay, you know, they're just roughhousing around. And then there's the story about Ric Flair. And I think that one was the biggest controversy, I suppose, from that episode. People who didn't already know. Yep. Even though I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's just Flair being Flair, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, at what point can somebody just make the excuse that it's just you being you, then you can act like a dick when everyone else, if they do the exact same thing, you're going to get vilified. Well, so I think that's the problem here.
Yes, it is. And here's the thing. At the end of the episode, you found out that he wasn't punished for this behavior. out of all the people, a whole bunch of them got punished, fines, firings, and stuff like that. But Ric Flair, because quote unquote he was the star, he didn't really get punished. And okay, what he is alleged to have done is he was walking around, with his robe and nothing else, right? And showing off his schlong. Okay, and then doing what we alluded to earlier, spinning his hips and doing the helicopter dick thing.
Yeah, and just the crazy thing, right? The way people have been retelling the stories in the past, someone have laughed it off. Someone have said like, "Oh, is him just entertaining the boys?" They even did a WWE Network Storytime episode on this plane right from hell.
Yeah,
and if you saw the news, I think I posted on our IG story. Ever since the release of the Dark Side of the Ring, one of the fallouts was this particular episode was taken down.
Yep.
Yeah, so the way they retold it was very family friendly, saying how like the way Ric Flair was like styling and profiling, and like the girls were into him. Like they just covered out so much actual details from the incident itself.
And then now, of course, the quote unquote truth has come out that he apparently cornered that one stewardess, right, with his naked body and everything, just a robe on, and allegedly got her to touch his schlong. Now, I mean, look. Just a couple of months, actually, when did that happen? Was it a year ago already? Remember when there was the whole situation? What was it called? Wrestling.
Speaking out?
The speaking out movement in wrestling and regional wrestling. We all remember that, right? And
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Obviously, now that the documentary has come out and the flight stewardess involved has revealed everything, that was actually what happened. It wasn't just him prancing around to entertain the boys. No, at one point he actually tried to force himself onto somebody else, which obviously crossed the line, right?
Yeah, but the problem is, right, and when all of them try to justify this behavior, they say that this is normal part of the culture. I don't believe that Ric Flair intentionally tries to like attack women. The problem is, I think there's a lot of women out there where he has had consensual relations with, air stewardess, whatever not, right? He is like the kind of so-called predator, right? Where he just tries everyone. 50% will say yes, 50% will say no. But he doesn't care. He's just going to try.
But then that's the
issue.
Yeah, and that's a huge issue. And quote unquote, the culture back then was and Terry Reynolds said it, to no sell it. Be like, okay, yeah, whatever, right? As opposed to calling it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And thank goodness we live in a time where women are more empowered to call this bullshit behavior out.
Yeah.
Because it's not cool. Can you imagine if this happened to someone, close to you? Like, I mean, we don't even have to even think about it. It just shouldn't be done. But I always try to say, like, okay, what if this behavior is happening to my daughter, my hypothetical daughter, or my sister, or somebody close to me? Like, you wouldn't want that to happen, right? And
people forget that this air stewardess is married with a newly born child. So it's not as if she is like going around fraternizing. Yeah. She is a married woman.
Yeah, okay, married, not married, whatever, all those things, it doesn't matter. You just don't make somebody do what they don't want to do. It is very scarring. It is traumatic, to say the least, right?
Of course.
Regardless of how hot you think you are. You know?
That goes for boys and girls, right?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we don't want to go into that whole conversation, right? But this quote-unquote revelation, and also the whole thing of RVD saying, oh yeah, he's known some of the guys who have slipped pills into girls' drinks. It's like, yeah, it's not a good look for the industry at all. And then Tommy Dreamer was another one who got into a lot of trouble because, in a way, he I wouldn't say he defended Ric Flair, but I guess he was like, it's not like he. This is what Tommy Dreamer said, it's not like he raped somebody. It's what he said, right?
No, the thing that I was a bit I didn't like that comment was when he said something along the lines of, if she was serious about these allegations, she should have sued him, but she took the money.
Yeah.
So it's as if she is blaming the victim for not coming out earlier.
Yeah.
And then why is he doing this? Make reports all these years later.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with this kind of news, right? Why do people straight away assume that it's just a cash grab?
Yeah.
Why can't they just take what they say at face value? If somebody has been violated, right, it's their right to speak out about it. Right?
Yeah, and plus, let's not forget the trauma that people hold from that. You know, that era of don't say anything, no sell it, right? And then, unbeknownst to them, they've thought about it for years and years and years. It haunts them and stuff like that. So it's like, I mean, you know, like I said lah, when I finally watched the episode, I was disgusted, but also I was like, ugh, I've heard these stories before, you know? I've heard these stories outside of pro wrestling. So it's an unfortunate stain on humanity, not just pro wrestling. It's an unfortunate stain on humanity, and hopefully by now we know better.
Yeah. The most important thing, guys, is like consent. Yeah, I guess people, you know, sometimes when you're young, but I mean, you can't tell Ric Flair, you can't blame it on his age because he was 53 when this shit went down. So like, you know, sometimes you might get frisky, you just want to try your luck, blah, 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 whatever it is. But the moment someone says, no, I'm not interested, back off, done, full stop.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be more to it. There shouldn't be coercing, done, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's no guiding people's hands to your junk. You know, this is not a free trial. Stop that shit, right? Yeah. Scott Hall also got into a bit of heat, right? Apparently he grabbed that flight attendant as well and like told her nasty things and stuff like that.
Yeah. But here's the big question from the fallout for this episode. Do you think, bro, after all these years when people has been allowing or, letting it slide, Ric Flair being Ric Flair, is he finally gonna have to answer to all this? Is he gonna get his comeuppance? What's gonna happen in your opinion?
Honestly, I don't know. At this point, all it means is AEW won't hire him, but he's already lived his life. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and yellow. So like, how does he get his comeuppance? You know what I mean? Like, in the eyes of who? You know, who are we to like say what is the correct judgment or what is the correct comeuppance? Like, you know what I mean?
This reminds me a lot of Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby. Yeah. Like, I believe that, I don't believe, in my opinion, that Ric Flair is a bad man. Mm-hmm. Like, he makes bad choices for sure. Everyone acknowledges it. Yeah. But I think at his heart, he's a good person. It's just that they always say, Nate is going to do Nate things, right? So it really has to come from him to realize that, a lot of what he did was wrong and he has to reckon with himself, because if he's going to be in denial, and he was, if you listen to the podcast he did with Renee Paquette, right before this episode aired, he did an interview on Oral Sessions, and he was really trying to cover his tracks really, bro. If you listen to the quotes that he said.
Is it?
He basically said, oh my God, I know that what's going to happen when it comes out. I'm going to cover myself. I know there's going to be a lot of heat on me, but I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to protect anyone else. If they're going to try to bring me down, I'm going to bring the rest of them down with me. Something along those lines.
Oh my God. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, he's at the end of his career. So, like, what is the pound of flesh that we're going to extract from him? Nothing. He's really, unless like there's like concrete proof that he really, really did some like whatever that can land him in jail. Like, she didn't press charges or anything. So it's like, he's been judged by the jury of social media at this point.
Yeah. There's actually a couple of stories that this episode left out, which I thought were pretty big stories, and I'm quite curious why this never happened. Okay. Remember, there was supposed to be this story of Kurt Angle wrestling with Vince McMahon on the train as well. Yeah. Or on the plane.
Yeah. Was it a different plane, right? Or was it this one?
No, it was this one, because I remember clearly Kurt Angle said in the shoot interview that I think Vince McMahon wanted to challenge him to an amateur wrestling contest.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe it just didn't fit the narrative of this show, because it wasn't as salacious as it could have been. Because at the end of the day, let's not also forget, right, that a show like this, you are trying to make it as dark and seedy as possible. And Kurt Angle and Vince McMahon having an amateur wrestling match is not exactly that, Seedy.
But the reason I brought that up was because, do you remember in this episode they said that Vince McMahon was all the way at the front and he didn't like they didn't say like whether Vince McMahon knew what was happening.
Yeah.
But then I remember clearly that story about Kurt Angle and Vince McMahon wrestling clearly contradicts that narrative. And they did mention it in Broken Skull sessions when Stone Cold interviewed Undertaker because Undertaker was asleep, remember?
Yeah.
And then when he woke up, he realized that he thought that Vince McMahon was being attacked by Kurt Angle and then he put him out.
Yeah.
So like I felt there was like some contradictions happening here and there.
Well, I mean, most of them were probably high or drunk or both, so they probably don't remember this whole incident properly, right? But yeah, no, that's a very good point. A very good point indeed. Maybe they're just covering up for Vince. I don't know. Vince threatened to sue. I don't know. You know, like they're like, okay, everybody else we can touch. Vince, better not touch. He has the deepest pockets. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the case may be. Right, but yeah, that's a good point that they omitted that whole story altogether, and it also makes Vince look bad if you imply that he kind of might have known what happened and did nothing about it. You know,
the thing is, Plane Ride of Hell has so much perspectives from so many different people. It's almost as infamous as the Montreal Screwjob at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, Montreal Screwjob is like, okay, it's just business, right? Professional dealings, people not happy with each other. This is like straight up debauchery and like a bunch of guys being total pricks.
It's like an episode straight out of what do you call it? Like it's like a scene straight out of Wolf of Wall Street. If you think about it.
right, yeah. Just with a bunch of beefed up pro wrestlers lah.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Can you blame WWE for wanting to shift to a PG friendly show?
Absolutely not. And if anything, it makes it better for the industry. It like quote unquote cleans it up. At least they try to clean it up a little bit, you know? And yeah, going back to when Undertaker said, oh, he misses the days of men being men, quote unquote, it's like, yeah, that quote doesn't age well. Not at this point, you know? And then you have to give kudos to folk like Triple H, who kept clean the entire time, only wanted to wrestle, you know? People who didn't partake in the well, I mean, would you consider steroids a drug? Anyway, sorry, that's not the point, is it? But you know what I mean? Like, they are the like true craftsmen who love the industry and wanted to perform. Like Bret the Hitman didn't take part in shenanigans like this that we know of.
Yeah, his issue was more of adultery, but at least that was consensual. I'm not allowing. I'm not endorsing it. But you know,
at least.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you think about it, right? Have you ever heard any bad story come out from Mick Foley?
No.
From Kane?
Yeah.
You know, even The Rock, so high profile as he is,
Stone Cold.
He basically, I mean, The Rock in a sense that I think he was married at that point in time. I think he was married to his high school sweetheart, right? So like, we can't just focus on the negative and forget to like at least acknowledge the people who were kept on the straight path.
Bro, The Rock's ex-wife is now his manager.
Oh yeah.
So,
yes.
Like obviously that was like a amicable split and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. We should focus on the good and realize that unfortunately, I'm gonna bring this up again. This happens unfortunately in the world, not just in pro wrestling. You know, in movies, acting, in Hollywood, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we have to understand that, yes, this thing did happen and there should be some consequences, especially from the parties responsible for it. Even if they don't feel that they were in the wrong, they should acknowledge the fact that, okay, like they might have caused hurt to some people. Yeah. If Ric Flair truly believes that he didn't do anything wrong, I would if he really means well, he should reach out to this air stewardess and apologize.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the least he could do, right?
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. And if anything, it's a cautionary tale to the next generation, right? Something,
of course,
that this generation of quote unquote nerdy video game playing pro wrestlers. Well, I don't think they have to worry about that, you know, anymore.
Yeah.
At least I hope not.
But then again, if you look like Austin Theory, right, I don't think he needs to expose himself. I think girls will be exposing themselves to Austin Theory.
No, whatever the case, as long as it's consensual, that's fine. That's not the issue here, right? The issue is just, you know, certain people acting in a way that they should not. No matter what your status is, no matter how hot you are, you know, doesn't mean that somebody wants to touch your junk.
Do you remember? I just suddenly had this thought in my mind. There was this one episode on Monday Night Raw where Triple H was on the ropes and he was asking some girls to flash their tits.
Yeah.
And as part of DX.
That was all planted lah. We know that to sell the image of DX, but
Yeah. But then again, like I said, like the focus on smart and all that, like that was something that maybe 10 years down the road, WWE will probably even not want to admit. They'll probably try to deny Attitude Era ever happened.
yeah. What? It's not on Peacock anymore. We lost the footage. Don't know what happened.
Yeah, so you never know. But at the end of the day, I think we fans know that WWE or pro wrestling industry as a whole is not all angels, right? Come on, we know if these kind of men are doing all the kind of shit in the ring, outside the ring, that's why there's the show called Dark Side of the Ring, right?
Well, like, I mean, I keep bringing this up, but like every industry, there's good, there's the bad. So there you go. It is what it is. Okay,
correct.
let's move on. Yeah, let's not dwell too long on this, because there's a whole bunch of stuff we need to talk about leading up to Extreme Rules coming up next Monday for us, right? Oh, it's gonna be a busy day for us because we are both on course.
Oh yes, of course. So we are still working it out. But if we can't review it right after the pay-per-view on the Monday, we'll definitely come up right after Raw. Probably we have some fallout.
Yeah, so
and you don't forget the draft is coming up as well. So there's probably gonna be a lot of things happening as well.
So just to preempt you, next week's podcast will probably be on a Tuesday. I mean, stick to our social media. We'll make our announcements there. But yeah, most likely we can't do next Monday right after Extreme Rules. But before we get to Extreme Rules, AEW is on fire. Because I was just thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, WWE has a pay-per-view, but AEW has Grand Slam. Okay, before we get there though, I just want to say Big E winning the WWE Championship, well deserved. We can all agree on that, right?
Yes.
Did they do it to counter AEW's momentum? Was it a hot shot decision? Was it like, oh shit, we need to do something, make some waves, Big E?
I believe that it is. Clearly the signs point to them responding to, like, AEW has been getting positive buzz ever since Punk returned. They had a critically acclaimed All Out. Like their shows has been garnering a lot of good ratings and reviews. So AEW is on the rise. We can't deny that. And WWE Raw has been shit for the longest time. Everyone acknowledges it. I give them credit because they are trying to change it. They're trying to reverse that. They're trying to add more elements to Raw. Big E announcing on Twitter on the day that he is going to cash in, I wouldn't go for that. If you want to promote that he's going to do it, then promote it on a show. Like maybe go on SmackDown and he announced like, hey, I'm going to cash it in on Monday. At least build a few days of anticipation. Is he really going to do it? Is he really going to do it? And then the first pop that comes out when he enters, right, and the first time at the very start of Raw, people will get super excited. But then he announced it on social media, like, I definitely for sure it was a hot shot move.
It felt very heavy-handed. Like he literally tweeted like, I am coming to Raw, blah, blah, blah. It's like, like, why couldn't they have been subtle about it? Like, put the side eye emoji like on a Raw post. Then that's it. That's all you have to do, right? And then fans will pick up on it. Like, this is the difference between AEW and WWE right now. And we've talked about it before. WWE just uses social media sort of as a tool, right? Whereas AEW, it seems like the wrestlers there, I guess maybe they are of a younger mindset. They understand how social media works. So they play. So, like just today, you had Adam Cole going at arguing with Britt Baker because Britt Baker posted a photo of her and Tony Schiavone. Sort of like little things like that. People are like, okay, yeah, we get it. I think at this point, WWE is still trying too hard to cater to, well, they're catering to the masses. So you have to be sometimes people are not that obvious. They don't really know the product that well. So they're like, oh, okay, maybe we have to be very obvious so that everyone knows,
Okay, when you look at the preview, the hype promotion for the Otto Ashe Stadium shows for Dynamite and Rampage, they already have the card set up 1 week in advance. For a fact AEW is gonna follow through with these matches, and they won't there's gonna be surprises for sure, but they're not gonna tease the fans and then pull it from under the rug. With WWE, can you really trust them to have a match card 1 week in advance and follow through with it? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
You know, here's the thing. When Big E won the WWE Championship, I was like, ooh, guess what? In my mind, Survivor Series around the world, around on the way. You got Bloodline versus the New Day now, right? That could be like a main Survivor Series match. And then they went and announced it for next Raw. I'm like,
Bro,
Okay.
flip table, bro. I want to flip table right now.
so okay, this just says to me, yeah, they are firing all the big guns now. They're like, screw it, we can't wait for the pay-per-view. AEW is gaining way too much momentum. And all these things, you know, it's a momentum game, right? Once they latch onto something, it just builds and builds and builds. They can't be just like, oh, okay, it's just a 1 week thing, the momentum will die down. No, if you don't stop their momentum, or if you don't try to build your own momentum, that's it. It's going to snowball very quickly. And
Yeah.
I wonder if, now talking about AEW, right? Are they doing too much too soon? I talked about it last week as well, but like 2 examples come to mind. One, Hogan versus Goldberg on Nitro.
Yeah.
Everyone will argue that that was just a terrible decision, giving away a marquee match on free TV. But on the flip side, like, do you remember the Attitude Era where they would have these type of matches all the time on Raw? You got your Rock Austin, Rock Mankind, you know, or variations thereof. Like, you had almost main event caliber matches on Raw for an extended period of time because they were in the throes of the Monday Night War.
Yeah. No, I don't deny that. Yeah, even Raw put out like blockbuster matches on free TV. But the difference is, especially between WCW and WWE, is there's always like a storyline reason for why it's happening. There wasn't like, oh, right, randomly they just announced, okay, next week The Rock was gonna fight Stone Cold on Raw. There was some consequence, there was a setup, something went down, it was executed. But with the Goldberg and Hulk Hogan thing, right, from what I remember, there wasn't any setup at all.
Right.
They just randomly announced it out of the blue. But you credit to them, in 3-4 days of the announcement, they managed to kind of almost sell out Atlanta, the Georgia Dome, right?
So couldn't they build to Survivor Series then? Is WWE rushing at this point? And my same question applies for AEW.
Yes, I agree, because a lot of people put it on the comments like, oh, why people say WWE is hot shotting their shows, but AEW is, people don't say they're hot shotting. Like, I mean, they're giving away Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega on free TV, right? I can see their point of view for both. Honestly, I can. Like, AEW is, like, remember we also talk about our fears that is AEW giving out too much great shit too soon?
Yep.
Yeah, but I believe that with regards to the AEW Arthur Ashe Stadium show, I think it's justified because they've already announced this Arthur Ashe Stadium is a super huge stadium months in advance. So we know no matter what, they're going to plan a big angle for that one.
Do you like the fact that AEW has less pay-per-views but they have more themed dynamites and rampages? Or like, you know, WWE, they have just regular Raw, regular TV, and then more pay-per-views.
No, I believe that the fact that AEW does them the way they do it, that kind of structure, makes Dynamite infinitely more important.
Yeah.
They make the build up to their pay-per-views really, really important. I think of it as like how, you know, UFC does it. UFC have like their fight night cards, and then they have like their proper numbered pay-per-views, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like every single month, or even if it's every single month, but they rotate the cast of characters. So I think that works a lot because I think WWE definitely suffers from overexposure for sure.
Yeah, to the point where it's almost as if their pay-per-views are just extended Raws or in a lot of cases, same length as Raw. You know what I mean? Yeah, I actually do agree with you on that, in that AEW has like a more palatable schedule in terms of like content, spreading it out, pay-per-views versus shows and stuff like that. So, okay, like, does Vince have to just stop and go, we need to do things differently? Or are they just going to stick to their guns? Because, okay, knowing Vince, Bruce, they're just going to stick to their guns until the wheels fall fucking off.
I believe, right, and it's kind of been obvious for the last couple of years, WWE, the way they cater to their fans, right, the fans are not as a priority as they are in terms of making money, right? Between making money and appeasing the fans, WWE is going to focus on making money more.
Right, yes.
They know that no matter what, the fans are still going to come to them.
But
Because
now there's an alternative. So, are they going to sound the alarm, or are they going to continue on their way because they realize, oh yeah, we are still the the main name in sports entertainment, quote unquote, right?
All right,
go ahead.
I have an interesting statistic that I want to present to you, and then you make your interpretations based on it. Last week's Raw, the one where Big E won, right? They were going up against Monday Night Football in the States.
Yeah.
They wanted to have their victory also because to counteract that programming, right?
Yeah.
And they were hoping that they're going to have a decent rating, even though they are competing with Monday Night Football. But then the ratings came out. It was only 1.6 million viewers on Raw.
Yeah.
Very, very low. It's actually one of the lowest of the year.
Yeah.
AEW at that very same week, this past week on Wednesday, got 1.2 million viewers.
Ooh. What were they unopposed?
Wednesday night unopposed, and they have been getting better viewers ever since CM Punk returned. And I think Tony Khan was on Busted Open Radio and he said that CM Punk has basically lifted their business to the next level.
Yep.
You know, he sold 100,000 t-shirts ever since he debuted.
Well, I mean, AEW is the t-shirt company after all.
Yes, the gates receipts all has increased. But the point I'm trying to make is 1.2 million for AEW Dynamite, 1.6 million for Raw. They are catching up.
Yeah.
They are catching up.
In
Can't
a
be
big
denied
way.
that.
You know, there is no denying it, you know. And what can WWE do at this point? And somehow they've doubled down on the fact that, okay, no, we only want to groom our own talent and forget about these indie guys, and we only care about taking sportsmen, making them into WWE stars. They have the look. And very quickly, on that thread, let's jump into NXT. And bro, NXT 2.0 is NXT 2.0. Like, I mean...
Lots of thoughts.
It went from must-watch TV to, within a week, to like, what the... Like, what's this, FCW on steroids I guess. You know, okay, yeah, that's great. You bring in like new talent, like the son of the Steiner. I don't know, I forget his name. Braun Breaker. Like what? Why not use his name? I don't know. You know?
He has the coolest name, bro. His name is Braun Rex Steiner.
Yeah.
So they literally could have just make his name Rex space Steiner, and he has the Steiner name, and it's perfect.
They want to own the trademark lah. They boil it down to that, you know. And then they brought some rando guy whose name I don't even remember and put him in the main event and remove
Von Wagner, right?
Yeah, Von Wagner, yeah, whatever the hell, who I don't know who he is also, and put him in the main event. Like it's great that Tommaso Ciampa won. Like of all of them, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, right? Even if they gave it a Pete Dunne, yes, but way to hotshot some nobody into the freaking main event.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is this guy? So I did some research. Apparently, he's the son of a Cal Blue. I have no idea who that guy is, but he used to be a wrestler back in the day. Do you know? Do you recognize that name?
No idea. Don't care. And the rest of the card was a bunch of established names versus new people. So it's like, oh no, this is what NXT is going to become, right? And like, okay, the very first match, you know, it was obvious what they were trying to do with Braun Breaker and LA Knight. Poor LA Knight, right? Goes in there, has to job to the brand new guy. Obviously, they're trying to say, oh, even though it's established guy versus new guy, you never know, the new guy could win. And they did that for, like, you know, it's very obvious what they were doing. Like, but then, after that match, all the established wrestlers won. So it's like, no, this...
Do you know what this is, right? Do you know what NXT has become? NXT is now WWE's version of AEW Dark.
Oh God, yes, you're right. You're exactly right. Which is so sad because NXT used to be like the cutting edge of pro wrestling in WWE style pro wrestling, that is. Oh my God. And then, okay, I actually enjoyed the wedding segment. It was quite funny. I thought it was a good sports entertainment skit. But what the fuck is the deal with the zombie ref?
I have no comments on that. No. But I would want to. Yeah. I want to ask you though: is this the first wedding since Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage where there hasn't been a run-in in the wedding?
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, that is obviously the inside joke, which is great for us like long-time wrestling fans. But My point is like I don't know where they're going with this. Like, why is the zombie ref was in the bachelor party the week before. I don't know if you noticed it.
Yeah.
He was driving one of the go-karts with bumper cars with them. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then he shows up at the wedding. It's like, why? The rest of it was great.
Do you think they're taking the sports entertainment portion of this whole rivalry or this whole index things too far? Like, they're really going all out with the sports entertainment portion.
Like, I enjoy the sports entertainment stuff, but like, don't give me a zombie. Like, seriously, like, the thing was great without the zombie. You had Ichimanjiro, you had whatever that Chase guy is,
Odyssey Jones,
like, all that stuff was great. It was great, silly sports entertainment. The zombie kills it for me. Like, fuck off. Like, what? Like, okay. Edison says, wait, where was Dante Chen? Okay, give Dante Traxxas Chen Sean a bit of time. He's still quite new there.
But guys, every week, right, what you all should do, right, is watch NXT just to see whether you will see Dante Chen make some small cameo. Like,
yeah,
it's like, hidden Mickey like that. Find the Mickey Mouse.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Tovakin says, why not hotshot Regal's son while they are at it? Wait, Regal's son is in NXT?
I didn't know that.
He better come out to everybody's favorite theme song. He's a man. Such a man. He's a real man's man. That is what Regal's son needs to come out to.
I thought you were going to start singing American Dream, bro. The intro almost the same, bro.
Oh, no. America. Oh, no, that one is on the other show, and we'll talk about the other show. So anyway, NXT, fuck off. No longer a priority for me.
I got one question, though. Do you think NXT is still able to keep their streak of, like, good to awesome NXT takeovers going forward? Or are they going to completely scrap takeovers? Because clearly this is not going to be a takeover quality roster.
Yeah, what you just said, the second one. No, whether they even do takeovers is going to be a big question. And if they do, it's going to be less often. And yeah, you're going to get freaking Mei Ying versus, I don't know, some Gigi Dolan. Some bullshit like that nobody gives a fuck about.
If it was me, right, I would just say, you know what, end the takeover, because you're not going to get anything better than this. Like, this, the last takeover was the end of an era.
Yeah.
Just do something new, because I rather keep takeover or NXT the way I remember it, and they can just change this name. I don't have to call it NXT.
That's why NXT 2.0. I thought 2.0 implies that it should be a better version. Why is it a shittier version? Anyway. Charlie Dempsey is Regal's kid. Interesting. So, okay. Let's move on. Let's move on then to AEW, right? We're going to talk about Grand Slam. So they are having two 2-hour shows. Dynamite and Rampage will both be 2 hours. And my God, like, they're really throwing everything out there. And it's one of those situations, I look at this card, right? Oh my God, everybody has a story. I'm like, how did, within a few weeks, did they turn this entire ship around? It's like, is CM Punk back there going, okay, this should change, let me, or like, what's going on? Have CM Punk and Bryan Danielson been in Tony Khan's ear, making him the best booker of 2021? What's going on?
Maybe it's Mark Henry, bro. Maybe it's Paul White.
Yeah, they're like, okay, actually, we tweaked it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, the matches are all like kind of must watch. Whereas, just a month ago, a lot of the matches on Dynamite and Rampage were like, huh?
Wait. Hold up. I heard you say something and I couldn't believe my ears.
What?
Did you call Tony Khan the best booker of 2021 without any sarcasm?
Only because he has the right people around him. I believe that's the case. That's a very important point, right? Vince McMahon has his yes men. We all know this. So, and here's the other thing as well, like with Vince, because now like WWE has writers, and this happens every time there's a giant corporate structure. I know this from my experience working in the media line, right? Sometimes when you have one head person who makes all the decisions, and you are like the performers are literally at the bottom of the totem pole, unless you are Roman Reigns, unless you are John Cena, right? Unfortunately, the performers are at the bottom. So the performers have to go through the writer go through Bruce Pritchard goes through, you know what I mean? So to
Yeah,
get
of course.
your idea to Vince McMahon, do you know how many times it's watered down? And I've had this happen to me personally so many times. I have a good idea. Let's go with this. I present it to this person presents it this. By the time it reaches the boss, it's not even what I had envisioned in the first place. And in 2021, it's not like a Ricochet can go and talk to Vince McMahon anymore. That's not the case. Whereas back in the Attitude Era, it's like freaking D'Lo Brown could have an audience with Vince McMahon if he wanted. Like, he would just have to wait. You know, but in today's WWE, that doesn't happen. And that is the problem.
I understand. And I agree with you, because at the end of the day, right, Vince McMahon has a million and one thing.
Yeah.
Do you think he got time to listen to Robert Roode or Dolph Ziggler's problems?
Exactly.
Or Ricochet?
Yeah, and plus, how old is the guy? He probably doesn't remember 80% of the shit that comes his way.
Yeah, that's scary, bro. That is legitimately scary.
and
Like, you're asking an old man to run oh my gosh, I can't.
And like with Triple H being, out of action for a while with his heart surgery and stuff like that, it's like, is it any wonder why the product has been the way it's been thus far? You know?
Yeah, I agree. And if you think about it, right, it's not really AEW is doing such a great job that they're beating WWE. A lot of the problems is WWE's own doing.
Yeah. And
WWE is shooting themselves in the foot.
And if you think about it, how is it that Vince McMahon, the master promoter, alamak, I forgot that so-and-so's contract is up. Oh, this fella on 30 day are not 60. Like, as if that would have happened back in the Attitude Era. You know what I mean?
You know that if it was Vince McMahon running the ship, he would be able to be on top of it. But I think it's just such a big monster now.
Yeah.
He can't possibly do that anymore.
And I think that is the main issue. Meanwhile, over at AEW, you have Tony Khan, Best Booker of 2020, and his sort of like EVPs, right? And I'm sure all the wrestlers are going to him, pitching him stuff like that. And he may not have the Vince McMahon mind for pro wrestling, but at least now he has people around him that know the business, like your Bryan Danielsons, like your CM Punks, to a certain extent, Omega, Chris Jericho, Young Bucks. I guess you got to give it to him as well. So
Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko,
Mark
backstage,
Henry, Paul White, Sting, Cody Rhodes.
No, but I think one thing I realized is, right, maybe the issue with AEW at the beginning was, yes, it was the 4 EVPs running the ship. And you can tell by the kind of matches that they were booking is like, okay, they're going to do a lot of the indie show mud style, the thing that Jim Cornette was shitting about. But then now if they gotten more of this WWE talent who actually knows the business, who knows how to advise, how to book, how to promote, you're right. It's the right people around him.
Not so much the WWE guys, but the guys who have been to the bigger show, pun not intended, and know how shit is run, know how to create buzz. So I'm like, ooh, this is truly exciting times. And
can you imagine this, bro? Can you imagine the Young Bucks trying to pitch an idea to put themselves over, and then Mark Henry says, nah, that's a bullshit idea. Do you think Young Bucks will be like, yeah, shut up, Mark Henry, you don't listen to me, I'm the EVP.
Mark Henry could break them like twigs. But yeah, that's exactly it. So right now, I think a lot of people are comparing AEW to like the Attitude Era, and it's a good comparison because everybody sort of has their own little thing. It's like a variety show where everything, if you don't like one thing, you can, wait for another thing, right? So let's go down the card. Dynamite, this upcoming Wednesday, Brian Pillman versus MJF. They started this feud like a week ago when they were in Brian Pillman's hometown, and MJF being like the master heat magnet that he is, just basically shit on the town, shit on the people of the town, and boom. This is the reason for the match.
And you know what's the crazy thing? I believe this is not even like going to be a long running feud. I think it's just going to be a mini feud for MJF. But in 2 weeks, like you said, he has managed to gain so much heat and fire underneath this feud that now it has become must-see.
Yeah,
just like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives the rub to Brian Pillman. So if Brian Pillman somehow comes so close to winning, but still doesn't win because you still want to maintain MJF's heat, right? You can't have him lose immediately. So Brian Pillman, he's going to defend his family's honor, blah, 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 but he falls short. At least all of a sudden we're like, oh, Brian Pillman Jr., not bad, huh? I'm interested in this fella. Yeah. Man. So there you go.
My prediction is, right, some way or another, right, this will transition into the real feud that probably has been simmering all this while. MJF versus Wardlow.
Oh my god. Wardlow needs a lot of time to get better.
He is basically Batista when he was still Deacon Batista, bro.
Yeah. Okay, if anybody can draw heat so that whoever he faces becomes the de facto babyface, I guess it's MJF. So there you go. Moving on then. Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. All right. Is this too soon?
Actually, if you follow the storyline, I think it's great timing because he has technically run through all of the Nightmare family. After he took out Dustin Rhodes, the next person that's going to be is Cody Rhodes. Yeah. But I have to talk about that very random cameo from Rosario Dawson last week on Dynamite.
Apparently,
so random.
Rosario Dawson is part of that like a reality show that Cody Rhodes is on also. Like the talent show. They're both judges. So I guess that's the connection lah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think Rosario Dawson is the first legitimate Hollywood celebrity that's actually done a angle in AEW, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I mean, there's sports personalities. I mean, there's Shaq, there's Snoop Dogg, but like a Hollywood star, I mean, other than Stephen Amell, I mean, that's okay lah. In terms of star value, like, whoa, Rosario Dawson, everybody knows. You know what's crazy thing?
What?
Rosario Dawson is the only celebrity, right, that has worked on a WWE back project this year in Young Rock and in AEW in 1 year. So I think like that's very interesting statistic right there.
Oh, that is, speaking of Young Rock, also isn't Chavo Guerrero the like stunt coordinator on that show, and that's why they wrote him off.
I heard the news.
Yeah, because he had to go back to start filming or something like that. So, which was very weird, right? Because all of a sudden they fired, quote unquote, Andrade fired Chavo out of the blue. I was like, what? So, apparently the reason is Chavo has to go back to start filming on Young Rock lah. Malachi Black, Cody Rhodes. Okay, first time around, Malachi Black beat the shit out of Cody. That was great. Cody faked the retirement angle. Let it roll my eye. We won't go into that. What can we expect from the second time around? Part 2.
Cody Rhodes better not get back his victory, man. I'll be so annoyed.
True. No, I agree.
Be so annoyed.
I agree. You want to put over Malachi Black huge, and Cody is busy with his reality TV show and all that shit and EVP stuff. Yeah, come in and lose definitively again just to like make the point. Holy shit, Malachi Black is a monster.
I need Malachi Black to slowly, eventually face off with CM Punk.
Yeah.
I think that's the wet dream that I want right now.
I think that's many wrestling fans' wet dreams, bro.
Yeah. And then, like, can you imagine both of them having a sit-down promo across each other?
One pipe bombing, one like freaking talking ominous dark shit. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, this match makes sense. You know, it's another must-see match, right? So let's move on then. Sting and Darby Allin versus FTR. Okay, so I guess the real feud here is Sting and Tully Blanchard. If you think about it, they have the real heat from way back when. But
okay, I'm glad that it's not one-on-one Sting versus Tully Blanchard in the show, so that's good.
Yeah. So this is obviously for Darby Allin to do the majority of the match, and then Sting comes in for like the baby face, comeback and shit.
Also, I'm glad that this feud is not revolving Darby Allin and Shawn Spears because nobody gives a shit about Shawn Spears.
Poor guy.
I like that FTR is the one getting the rub. So at least they're putting FTR on this big card, right?
Yep. And putting them up against a legend. People are going to tune in to watch for Sting, right? Then at the same time, hopefully they are like, oh, this Darby Allin quite cool. Oh, this FTR quite badass, So it works.
I didn't know. I don't know whether you're old enough to watch like Oli and Arn Anderson in their prime, but a lot of people make comparisons between FTR and the Brainbusters, Oli and Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. They are definitely a throwback sort of team. I mean, it's right there in their gimmick as well, that they are an old school type team. So there you go. Moving on, Britt Baker, DMD versus Ruby Soho. Okay, is this too soon?
Did you watch the promo War of Words on Rampage between the two of them?
No, I didn't actually. I missed that.
Okay, go and watch it before you watch this show.
Okay.
In that one promo segment, they built up enough heat for the match, bro. Everyone is like super hyped.
Okay.
The promo was so good. They said it was the best women's segment in AEW in their history so far.
Wait. Best promo segment in AEW or best promo segment across all wrestling in this era?
Best women's segment in AEW so far.
Because if you say best women's segment in pro wrestling, I disagree because Eva coming back is the best.
No, bro.
Bro. Alexa Bliss and Eva, their program is the best. Doudrop is the shit.
Bro, if you tell me your favorite women's match is Melina versus Alicia Fox, I'm just gonna beat you out right now, bro.
Yes, bro, that's it. No, it's definitely an Eva match. Okay, I'll go back and watch that because it sounds good.
But the thing is, Ruby Soho and Britt Baker, I think, has the most developed character. Ruby Soho, right, bro, looks and acts like a star on a level that I've never seen her act like a star in WWE. She really is holding her own right now.
I would argue that even in WWE, she held herself up like a star. She looked like a star. It's just she wasn't booked like a star.
Yeah. And this was addressed in the promo segment because I just the cliff notes, what happened was, so they had like a face-to-face. Britt Baker called her out, saying that you only ran away. You call yourself you're runaway, but the only reason you're here is because you got fired. Yeah. And then Soho said that, you know what? Yeah, I don't deny I got fired, but that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And yes, I wasn't a runaway because I choose to be. It was more of like I wasn't given the freedom to be myself. Blah blah blah. So they did allude to a lot of things that happened in WWE. But the line of the night, because Chris Jericho was on the commentary, and also Ricky Starks for some reason.
Okay.
But the way they all of them on commentary reacted to this line that happened was so fucking funny. It was like Joe Rogan like reaction, you know. Okay. Because I think Ruby Soho said something along the lines of like, you stand across me like every single woman I've stood across in the ring, like entitled, full of shit and something like that, and then and just banging someone in the back. And then so that was the big and then there was the funny thing. Chris Jericho was like, what did you say that? What?
How was Chris Jericho on commentary for Rampage?
Better. I think he probably kena a lot of criticism about the shouting. He definitely toned it down. But the line of the night was Ricky Starks. Because Ricky Starks, in response to that, he was like, is it wrong to fall in love? Is it wrong? Like in response to that line. So it was fucking funny.
Oh my god.
So the whole segment was definitely a great build-up, because when you say it was too soon, I thought it was too soon, but I can't believe in just one segment they made me want to watch that match.
So it would be too soon to hot shot the title to Ruby though, right?
Definitely, in my opinion. Yeah, you're right. But it will be the great start of a long-running rivalry that leads, hopefully, to Full Gear, in my opinion.
Hopefully, yeah. Talking about commentators, though, I have to very quickly mention last week's Dynamite. CM Punk was on commentary, and god damn, bro. Like, I was like, hey, can he stay or not? It's like when Samoa Joe was on commentary. I was like, ooh, like, yeah, I could, you know, I would definitely listen to more of CM Punk on commentary. And what I really appreciated about CM Punk on commentary was that he never spent any of the time putting himself over. It was always about the in-ring product, highlighting the wrestlers, that kind of thing. So it's like, he gets the business. Like, I'm starting to see, okay, like, this guy gets the business. Whereas, like, you know, I'm a huge fan of Chris Jericho, but every time he comes on Rampage, it's almost like, because he's still a wrestler as well, so he can't help but try to draw attention to himself, you know. And he's that larger than life character anyway. He's like, right? So he just can't help himself. But with CM Punk, it's like, even though he is still an active wrestler, when he's put in the commentary role, it's like, okay, my job here is to highlight the wrestlers and the action, not myself. So I really respected that.
Did you watch Raw in 2010 when CM Punk was a part-time commentator for a couple of months?
No, I don't remember this at all.
Okay, I think maybe that's great that you recognize that, you know, his talent on the commentary, because when he cut his infamous pipe bomb, he said this line: "I'm the best in the world. I'm the best in the ring, on commentary, even on commentary. You know, I'm the best." He was referencing to that time in 2010. He was doing the Straight Edge Society storyline, right?
Yeah.
But then when that ended, he basically kena squashed. The entire thing split up. He was injured, so they wanted to keep him on TV while he's recovering. They made him a commentator for about 3 or 4 months towards the end of 2010, along with King, along with Michael Cole. And like you said, he was like very Samoa Joe like.
Yeah.
He was great at like those like very deadpan humor, making a lot of quips. And if you know one of his part-time jobs right now, he's actually a commentator for one of the cage fighting MMA promotions as well. So I think he is really, really good on commentary. And the point that you make about how he put people over, right? I actually was enjoying him on commentary. And when Team Test came and interfered and like took him out, I was legitimately annoyed. So I was like, hey, I wanted to watch him all the way until the end of the show, man.
Yeah. Why are you taking him away, right? Chris Jericho,
Yeah.
the exact opposite. If he leaves, it's like better. Alama. I hate the fact that I just said that. Hidayah, what's up? How are you, by the way? She says, put
Hey.
Eva Marie and Tony Khan in the same room. But why? Don't put Eva Marie anywhere close to a pro wrestling ring. Please, thank you very much. Okay, your main event for Dynamite is Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. Okay, this is the big one, right? Where we go, are they doing too much too soon? Obviously, they are not going to hotshot the title to Bryan Danielson right now.
It is a non-title match.
Wait, what?
It is a non-title match, yes.
The fuck? Okay, so Bryan Danielson is
changes
winning.
everything.
Bryan Danielson is going to win winning.
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be a title match, but when you watch Dynamite last week, right, he did say that they had like a very intense showdown, remember, on promo, and he said that maybe one of these days, eventually it will be about the title. But right now, I want to know who is the best in the world, and that was the thing that drew out Kenny Omega, that made him agree to fight him, because it's not going to be about him losing his title. He wants to know who is the best wrestler in the world.
Okay, so that being said, then it makes sense for this to happen on a Dynamite. So I think it's fine then. And in this case, I don't think Kenny should win. I think Bryan should win to really cast doubt, make Kenny like, oh shit. And then the next match can be for the title. The next one at wherever, Full Gear, whatever.
It's like the Christian situation, like, where he won the title on Rampage, but lost it at All Out.
Huh? Won the title? Oh, as in the Impact title.
Yes, the Impact title.
Yeah, so he won a fake title. I mean, a not important title, and then he lost. Yeah, so exactly right. Yeah. No, to give like the sense of Kenny Omega could lose, but actually when it comes to the big one, no. But in this case, Bryan Danielson needs to win. Yeah, and then when it comes to the pay-per-view, maybe Kenny Omega shenanigans, blah blah blah, that kind of thing.
How you enjoying Bryan Danielson's promos in AEW so far, bro?
It's good. It's good that, they can talk naturally and say words like shit. I just really hope they don't all overuse the word shit, because it's like I counted the number of times they use shit. It was like 6-7 times on Dynamite. It's like, okay.
It's as if shit is the only swear word that they know how to use on AEW.
Exactly. It's like it's probably the only one they're allowed to use. Like, if there's a list of swear words like damn, ass, bitch, blah, blah, like it's how bitch is for WWE. Now apparently WWE can just whack bitch, and then they like, every other promo got one, you bitch. Okay, yeah, whatever.
But in Attitude Era, right, do you really hear a lot of shit? I didn't hear the word shit being used a lot, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So are you telling me USA and TNT got different swear words that can be used?
I think so. That's probably what it is. And TNT, apparently their ceiling is a bit higher. Can say shit. USA cannot say shit, but bitch can.
I remember, right, I think one of the promos when somebody says your douchebag kena beep out. So I was thinking like, okay, very interesting.
Yeah, it is what they probably have a quota. So okay, if you say 5 shits, that's max. Cannot go over 5. but
why I like personally Bryan Danielson on AEW is, right, I like that he's kind of cocky, bro. He's kind of supremely confident in his own ability. He does think of himself as the best in the world. And like, while CM Punk is coming back from like so-called imposed retirement, and he's like a bit like, I don't know whether I'm still the best in the world, a bit humble. But Daniel Bryan is like, yeah, I am the best, bitch. Can you fight me? Like, I like that attitude from him.
Yeah, it's like something different lah, I suppose, when it comes to that. And it's an exciting match. It's must-see TV. And like we talked about, this entire card on Dynamite is must see. So there you go. Raw, SmackDown, better step up. Right? What are they doing on SmackDown? Do we know what they're doing on SmackDown? No.
No, well, I mean, we know what happened on SmackDown this past week.
No, but my whole point is like this week's SmackDown, like, do we really know what's happening? Not really. But we already know what's happening on Dynamite. We know what's happening on Rampage. And, okay, if Rampage is 2 hours, is it starting 1 hour early or going 1 hour late? That's my question.
No, it's going 1 hour. It's going 1 hour late because its starting time is still the same.
So it's still not clashing with SmackDown,
Yeah. So the thing is, from what I understand, is they're gonna shoot the whole thing, the 4 hours on AEW live on Wednesday, but they're just gonna tape it for the second hour,
right?
And release it on Friday as well.
So that's what Rampage is, lah. I mean, you know, we said it before. Rampage is essentially the third hour. It's like Raw, but if Raw was split up into two, which is actually a really good idea.
Yeah, a lot of breathing room for sure.
A lot, and both shows you can always rotate the talent so that hey, if I miss, rather, I mean, this week if I watch Dynamite for let's say MJF, next week he's not on Dynamite but he's on Rampage, so at least I'm forced to watch both shows. You know, Rampage. Here we go. The Super Click. I'm not sold on that name yet.
I don't know whether there's any history of this Super Click name was in ROH or anything. I'm not sure.
It probably has some history that we are not aware of. All you indie fans, please let us know in the comments. But Super Click, i.e. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage, Jurassic Express.
Yep, and the thing is, like you said, like how Christian just naturally transitioned back to a new rivalry just like that. And I don't know, it's interesting, but okay lah, he's back in the cut that he belongs lah, not the main event.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because the whole point of him coming back was to go and, challenge for titles and stuff like that, right? But nope, slides right back down. And I mean, I guess he could have a worse feud. This is one of the marquee groups anyway, the Super Click. So wait, the Super Click is Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. The Elite is Omega, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. Is it so different combinations got different team names? Is it fucking irritating, yeah?
These are like a science mind map. So like the overall topic, main topic is the Elite.
Yeah.
Then got like subset is the Super Click.
So okay, Elite, so this is the formula. Elite minus Kenny Omega equals Super Click. Super Click minus Adam Cole equals Young Bucks. Is that it?
Yes.
Oh,
and then if you plus the Good Brothers, nobody cares about the Good Brothers.
The Bullet Club. But I don't know lah. Too complicated already. Like factions within factions. Are you kidding me? But in a way, for like the hardcore like indie wrestling fans, I think they love this shit. They love this whole all these funny names. It's almost as if how some people are obsessed with keeping stats for whatever sport they're into. This is almost like it. Oh, okay, so these two are the Young Bucks, but if you add Adam Cole to them, it's Super Click. But you add Omega plus all the random jabronis like Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler, that's the Elite.
But isn't it the same as like comic books? Like didn't they just announce like a new game with for all the Marvel characters? Like it's called the Dark something. I can't remember.
Midnight Suns.
What is Midnight Suns? Is it like a random team up or what?
Yeah, it's just an excuse to put certain characters together and sell a video game. That's what it is.
But essentially it's the same, right?
Yeah. All these nerds getting together, creating content. I love it. And this is the era. I guess it caters to this era of wrestling fan as well. So, I mean, I'm not going to hate on it, but I'm just not sold on the Super Click name yet. That being said, this is probably going to be a really, really good match. Adam Cole's match with Kazarian. What a great debut for Adam Cole on AEW. Damn it, man. Adam Cole, baby. He has everything except the height. Everything except the height.
He is.
And that's why AEW is the place for him.
He has such great charisma. I forget that he's a small, skinny man. He literally oozes charisma. And you know what?
Yeah.
When you talk about his debut against Kazarian, right? We gotta give props to Kazarian. He actually is such a great hand in the ring, and he also was there for the debut with Christian. And I think a lot of people don't give him credit because he a bit bland but I think he's fucking good in the ring.
That's the cursed word, bro. Good hand, huh? Naufal, by the way, says cough, House of Torture in Bullet Club, cough. Okay, what is that? Is that a New Japan reference?
Guys, please explain to us because we fucking noob when it comes to this shit.
Yeah, please educate us on the New Japan ways, huh? But So
Wait.
back to this, we're talking about Kazarian and
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, Bay.
Quick question, bro. Which team do you prefer on Adam Cole? AEW or NXT?
AEW lah. Like fuck lah.
AEW?
I mean, I'm sorry, but Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong blend as fuck. And when you compare them to Matt and Nick Jackson, who are doing the best heel shit that I've seen from them, like this is perfect. And here's the thing, okay? Like, I was listening to the Jim Cornette podcast, and he brought up a very good point on how he would book Adam Cole in WWE. And this is probably why Adam Cole, when offered the WWE contract, was like, nah, I'm going to go to AEW to do my thing. Because we all know this, right? We've read the dirt sheets, heard about it on podcasts. Adam Cole was offered a role as Keith Lee's manager. Yeah. Okay.
Nope.
Cornette, his idea, and this was several months ago, bring him to the main roster, but don't pitch him as like, you know, the next coming of Jesus to Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon is going to take one look at him and go, yeah, I don't see it, right? Give him a couple, like, he's amazing on the stick. Have him as a wrestler, but have him in a group. Put two horses next to him. They can be his henchmen, do the dirty work, but he's still a wrestler. He's not a manager and does nothing, you know? Like Roddy Piper had like his group. And then once he proves himself as like the heat magnet that he can be, then, okay, then you start having him being there to do more shit and moving up the card and stuff like that. But that's how you pitch that to Vince McMahon.
The thing is, right, Adam Cole is no bigger than somebody like AJ Styles. But why does AJ Styles, when he comes in, he straight away is treated like a star? I believe AJ Styles has this thing that right off the bat, right, I think Vince McMahon picked up with in terms of his personality, right?
Yeah.
I think he has the ability to be a larger than life personality. And maybe Adam Cole, the issue was, like you said, he was in a group with bland people.
Yeah.
And he was like this one-man charisma guy in this group that somehow the group brought him back down a bit, like make him lose a bit of that luster. It's as if, right, he traded out a bunch of like loser guys, no offense, for like the most obnoxious, like over the top guys. Then of course he gets elevated when he's with the clique.
Yeah. So definitely he knew like the writing was on the wall. I go to Raw and become Keith Lee's manager. He's just going to be the mouthpiece. He's not going to get to perform. And he's not even like over the hill. He's only what, 30s?
Yeah, he's 31, bro.
Yeah,
he's fucking young.
Meanwhile, he could go over to the other company, get paid, probably his Tony Khan money, right? And be around all his friends and have high profile matches. I mean, fuck.
Bro, you know what? The AEW theme song for Adam Cole is like really growing on me.
Yeah. It's
like,
almost better than the Undisputed Era song already.
Yeah, it's almost, because I feel like they literally took all the elements that made the Undisputed Era song cool.
Yeah.
And then added the, you know it's all about the boom.
Yeah.
That is like Rage Against the Machine shit. Bro, I'm fucking rocking out. Every time he comes to the ring, I'm like, yeah, bro.
I have no idea what they say, by the way. I just go...
Okay, I read the lyrics. It says, you know it's all about the boom.
Oh, wow.
So it's the
Best.
boom.
Best.
Pandai, right?
Yeah,
and then straight away, the next line is Adam Cole, baby. So it's like, yeah, it's perfect.
Oh, by the way, House of Torture in Bullet Club is a new subgroup in the Bullet Club consisting of Evil, Dick to Go, Takahashi, and Sho.
Is this a follow-up from last year when they revealed like Evil and Dick Togo was like in cahoots?
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, man. Okay, guys, we will slowly get back to New Japan once Wrestle Kingdom comes in. I think that's like our yearly Japan visit.
Yeah, so maybe start of the year we do a special, we do a watch along New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, and then y'all can like fill us in on the storyline while the matches happen. Okay. In the meantime,
let's do that.
Yeah, let's get back to the 2-hour rampage. Okay. Now that song is in my head. Shit. Talking about songs that get in your head. Judas, the Inner Circle versus the Men of the Year. Okay, the funny thing is, this, like, all of a sudden I'm hyped for this because of the Dan Lambert factor. Like, Dan Lambert, out of nowhere, American top team, MMA, like, head coach, all of a sudden is like one of the best heel managers in pro wrestling. What just happened?
I don't know, bro, but I think that's like the crazy fun thing about AEW. It's so unpredictable. Like literally out of nowhere, right? Somebody can be a big star.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? I believe, right, Dan Lambert has been waiting for this moment his entire life.
Yes. He's like, oh my God, I never got to do this as an MMA guy. Now is my time. And he just fucking goes at all the millennials and the, like, you know, like he's like he's an old man waving at the clouds. I love it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, he is actually credible among like the wrestlers because he got a shout out from Bobby Lashley during the Broken Skull sessions. Yeah. The American top team, he trained with them. And every time he comes to WWE or AEW, right, he'll always bring his roster of UFC guys. So it's like, bro, you're giving like free publicity for the UFC fighters. You're giving mainstream attention to the AEW people. No. And like, just by association, right, bro? Man of the Year is like now is something that I give a shit about. Yeah.
Before it's like Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page Killer. They threw what's his face, Darby Allin down the stairs. Ooh. All of a sudden they are hanging around. This is truly a case of getting the rub. And unfortunately, I think it's very funny when he has his MMA guys and gals in the ring because they look very like awkward. They're like. They don't know what to do because they are not used to that, I guess. You know, they're used to facing off, but they're not used to performing. So they look freaking awkward in the ring with Dan Lambert. A bunch of like muscled up guys like.
But why I like the whole interaction with Chris Jericho and Jake Hager was the fact that they brought Jake Hager. So now he got the MMA quotient backing him up. Yeah. And also everybody knows Chris Jericho is like a legitimate tough guy because he's not afraid of anybody. Yeah. So in the promo he referenced fighting with Brock Lesnar, fighting with Goldberg backstage. So I thought that was pretty dope lah.
Oh my God, this is like AEW Love Fest all of a sudden. Best Booker of 2021.
Without any sarcasm.
Tony Khan. With input from Bryan Danielson. We have to qualify all the CM Punk.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to this match.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think the reason why we're looking forward to this match is because all this number of weeks, Dan Lambert is talking all this shit, right? Without any comeuppance. Yeah. But now he got somebody matching him on the mic, the wrestling equivalent in Chris Jericho. Yep. I think that combination just makes it so explosive.
And plus, I think what makes this work also, we know that Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page can go in the ring. It's not going to be a shit match. It's not like a bunch of newbie jabronis we don't know, you know? It's like, okay,
it's not Cain Velasquez versus...
Yeah, exactly. Or it's some jabroni from Dark that nobody knows. No, it's like, oh, okay, it's Scorpio Sky. We've seen him go in the ring before, right? It's Ethan Page. So it's like, okay, I'm all for this shit. All right. CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Ooh.
Okay, so a couple of things going into this match. A couple of things, right? The fact that at first, I wasn't looking forward to CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, that's not the one I want him to wrestle as a second match. Yeah. But it's on a TV show. So it's not technically a pay-per-view. So I give them that. So, and there's also the fact that it's his first televised wrestling match in 7 years since his Raw days.
Okay,
giving the rub to a young guy like Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this should lead to CM Punk versus Ricky Starks. And Ricky Starks is the man he needs to put over huge, right? I don't think CM Punk should have, like, I don't know. I'm just looking at this matchup because Powerhouse Hobbs, to be honest, to me, has very little to no heat. But he's a big powerhouse. He's a horse. He has Taz in his corner. So I'm thinking shenanigans. They all just come out and beat up CM Punk, lor. So throw the match out. Because I don't see this as a competitive match. If you have CM Punk beat Powerhouse Hobbs clean, it makes Powerhouse look like shit. Right? If you have Hobbs beat up CM Punk, you can't have that. CM Punk, this is his first televised, free TV match.
But the thing is, right, knowing CM Punk, I believe CM Punk doesn't give a shit about having someone else getting the rub from him. He's the kind of guy. He's so unpredictable. You know what? Yeah, let Powerhouse Hobbs get the victory or the shenanigan victory, and that will continue the storyline as opposed to I'm gonna beat him clean. I have to move on. Yeah. So I wouldn't put it past CM Punk to do that.
Okay, that's a good point. I think if I were to book this, Mr. Young, Booker of 2021, I would just have Team Taz just beat up CM Punk, throw the whole match out. Schmoz.
Yeah.
You know, have the match for a while. You know, CM Punk like try to work on the knees or some bullshit like that because he's not gonna match power, right?
But I believe you're right. The one guy in the whole team test that we want to see him face off again is Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks on the mic with CM Punk. I mean, that's gonna elevate Ricky Starks for sure.
But bro, what about Brian Cage?
Bro, Brian Cage not even in team test anymore. He's not relevant to this conversation.
It's like he left Team Taz and gained nothing from it, and he's still as bland as ever. In fact, I think he's even more bland now that he doesn't have Taz.
Didn't his wife complain on Twitter that he's not being pushed like a star or some shit?
Yeah, that's because he's plain as fuck.
And then the Twitter replies is like, your husband is not a star.
What?
I feel so bad.
Oh no. But it's true. Anyway, let's move on then. So now we have the New Japan audience match of the night. It's a lights out match. Suzuki-gun versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. This is like the whole variety show idea where if you're not into CM Punk, you can watch some Japanese style. If you're not into Japanese style, you can watch, Young Bucks style. So, what do you think of this match?
Okay, you're right in the sense that this is like catering to the Japanese fanboys, who watch New Japan and that kind of stuff. I love it because like we know who Suzuki-gun is. Like even if you're a casual New Japan watcher, Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki is definitely a legend. Even if you don't watch like pro wrestling in Japan, you know about his history in mixed martial arts. And I think what Tony Khan is doing, right, is he is actually giving like credit to all these like long time Japanese wrestlers and giving them a new audience in this stage of their career. And I think that's the reason why they're bringing Minoru Suzuki into AEW. But my problem with this whole situation is, right, wasn't Lance Archer like a face like 2-3 weeks ago? Didn't he fight like Tanahashi for the US title as like the good guy? Now he's a bad guy again, bro. What's up with that?
Lance Archer is the worst booked wrestler in AEW. Like he's the big show of AEW. 1 week face, next week heel. 1 week face, next week heel. Don't know whether he's still hanging out with Jake the Snake or not. Like,
remember that one time 2-3 months ago when Dan Lambert first showed up? Wasn't Lance actually the one that came out to shut him up?
Yes. And then that got dropped. And then everybody dies. And then he become good guy. And then he become like, wow, he's the worst book. Like, okay, maybe it's a case of him being on like a part-time contract. So they are not really putting in a lot of effort into his storytelling and just shoehorning him in whenever it fits. And in this case, it fits. Together with Minoru Suzuki, they have a history, and throw them up against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. It's a New Japan fight lah. So makes sense. Just throw it in. The fans don't need to think so hard about it. This match sells itself.
Yeah, and it's a lights out match. So talk about like going overboard with like the fan service, man. Like they're just giving them like one time free Japanese death match for everyone to enjoy.
Okay, if the ring doesn't explode, I will give it -4 stars. Okay, fuck.
Oh dear gosh, yeah. But you know what? Like all the AEW theme songs, Wild Thing, like I know it's like a popular song, but it's growing on me. Like I think now I cannot imagine Jon Moxley going out to that previous AEW theme song that they had, a very shitty one. This one just gives him such a cool vibe.
Bro, I only remember his WWE one. I say that very sarcastically. It's quite boring.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I like that. Was this more popular in the 80s where wrestlers used to have a mixture of like popular songs as their theme songs and custom songs? Was that a thing? Like in the 80s, people walked out to actual popular mainstream songs.
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember a lot of wrestlers coming out to popular songs. They just came out to their own themes. Like when I think back to your like Hogan's, Savage, Steamboat, they all like had WWE theme, Jim Johnston originals.
Maybe it was a ECW theme, because I remember ECW had a lot of like Enter Sandman all the cheap ass shit, right?
Because they were such an underground brand, they're like, fuck it lah, don't care about the licensing. WWE, if they play fucking Enter Sandman, you know how much money they have to pay for the licensing of that music?
That's true. But that's just another example of Tony Khan really got money to throw. Bro.
Yeah, it's just okay. You know what? We don't have a Jim Johnston. We don't have a proper composer. Fuck, let's just buy. Don't care. Why not? Right? Now, File says someone needs to pay for the Suzuki incident. Lol. You know that whole meme thing where his song got cut off and then like the audience couldn't sing along to his song, right? And he was disrespectful.
Yes.
It's fun. It's cute lah. I think it's cute that AEW. Okay, maybe cute sounds condescending. I think it's smart that AEW goes along with these memes, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, Suzuki was offended that his song got cut off. It's a conspiracy." So they went along with the meme.
I've thought about it long and hard, bro. I realized, right, the reason why they cut off the song, obviously, is because the rampway in AEW is so small as compared to New Japan.
Yeah.
So, like, New Japan, like, even though it's a longer rampway, by the time he reached the ring, he can hit that chorus.
That chorus part
like,
where
right
everyone
on
sings.
Time. Yeah, but it's so funny that the entire fallout from his first appearance in AEW was like, hey, fucking hell, you never played the most important part of the theme song.
Yeah. So I love that they leaned into it. See, this is a company that is listening, like you said, listening to the audience, and okay, fuck, let's go with it. You know, Tovakin says he loves Bryan Danielson's theme. Okay, you know his theme. You know whose theme it sounds like? Because it starts with the Ride of the Valkyries, right? And then it transitions into this weird hip hop thing that reminds me of Booker T's theme. The beat. If you go and listen to it. For whatever reason,
talking about the can you dig it, sucker?
Yeah. So at the back there's like this hip hop beat, right?
Like,
that's what Bryan Danielson's theme is. It's the Ride of the Valkyries transitioning into some weird hip hop beat. It's like, wait a minute, it sounds oddly familiar. It's freaking Booker T's theme, I tell you.
Okay, maybe we need to play it side by side to really see the comparison.
Yes.
But I kind of like it in a weird ass way because like it's like a pop. Like
it is, it is.
So it's when Bryan Danielson comes out to the ring, right? He does this thing where he's like, he's like bobbing to the song.
Bro, the next time he does that, think of Booker T. It's like the similar bob. I'm telling you, man. Maybe he's a closet Booker T fan. He's like, I want Booker T's entrance.
One thing is very interesting is apparently he addressed in the media scrum after All Out saying that he wouldn't be able to use the yes chant or they can't copyright it because WWE has so-called license to it, and he's going to respect the intellectual property, and even if the fans are going to do it, he won't be able to do it along with them.
So but it's fine. The fans can do it all day long. He just like
they can't find the fans.
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly. Okay, so let's move on then. I might have read the card upside down because it seems like we're going backwards here. 8-man tag, Lucha Bros and Santana and Ortiz versus the Hardy Family Office. Okay, so that's your take a shit match.
The Latinos coming together.
Yeah, versus Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade, like basically. It's gonna be a fun like time filler of a match. Don't expect too much. They have they feuded? Not really, right?
Not really.
No, not really. So yeah, this is a bit of a like, okay, here's a fun tag team match for you guys to watch. Did you see what Matt Hardy did at a house show recently? Not house show.
What happened?
Indie show. So he was on the mic. He's like, blah, blah, blah. He had a secret, like a surprise tag team partner. Then he was like, there's only one person I can call on, and that person is family. And then the crowd was like, family?
Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, no, and then they played Jeff Hardy's music. Then you see this guy come out and he's doing the shit. And then it's like, which member of the Private Party is the one with the koropok hair? No, I mean, is it Isaiah Quinn? Isaiah Cassidy?
Isaiah Quinn. Yeah.
No, it's Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn lah. We combine the two.
Mark Quinn, is it?
Mark Quinn, I think, yeah. One of the Private Party came out doing the shit and to Jeff Hardy's music. Wow, he really trolls, yeah. I laugh. It's quite funny.
Okay.
Anyway.
So that's the most interesting thing Matt Hardy has done this year.
Yes, it is, 100%. Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. Okay.
Nice.
I mean, the two of them are sort of building their, resume of matches and stuff like that. So, yeah, dude. Dynamite looks like the stronger card, obviously, but still, it's going to be 4 hours of solid pro wrestling.
Bro, if you think about it, right, the two matches that we just now mentioned is like the ones that we are like meh about. But like that is 2 out of like what 10, 11 matches,
11.
and the rest are all like big stories, right?
Bro, if you combine Dynamite's card and maybe Rampage's card minus the last two matches, that's a pay-per-view. That's a pay-per-view
Yeah,
that
it is.
people would pay money to watch. But it's on free TV, so woo, what? It's a good
You know what
time.
You know what I'm excited for? On top of those matches,
Yeah.
they're gonna hold for the first time I think ever in history, they're gonna hold a wrestling event in a tennis stadium. So I'm excited to see how that looks.
Right. The acoustics
Right,
and
so-
everything.
The acoustics, the layout, how the ring and like the entrance is gonna be, and it's gonna be like a huge crowd. I think they're gonna probably have like almost 30,000 people.
Sweet. Wow.
So it's gonna be like a huge ass a wrestling event. It's gonna be like Georgia Dome almost, if you think
Shit.
about it.
Good for them, man. Good for them. Okay, so we spent a hell of a lot of time talking about AEW, even though the title of today's episode is like Extreme Rules
Extreme
Preview. Now, the thing is, right now I look at Extreme Rules card, I'm like, a bit lame. This is sad. This
But
is,
we got to run through it, I guess, nonetheless.
but bro, I feel sad. I feel sad because we grew up with the WWE. In a way, like, I have a lot of connections, to the product. Like, to see it sort of like the way it is now, like, it's kind of
Okay,
sad.
but one thing about WWE's cut, right, in recent times, right, even though when we go into the show, got no hype, right, some of the cuts actually, even though like, the matches are whatever, but then when the event happened itself, the matches actually turned out to be really good,
Right. So
even though without much build.
keep your expectations low so that you will be, surprised or you enjoy it, huh? All right, here we go then. Let's start with WWE Extreme Rules. Liv Morgan versus Carmella.
Woo! Killer match, bro.
Well, at least Liv Morgan is getting a bit of a push. What was she hanging out with Toni Storm on SmackDown for? And also talking about Toni Storm, remember? Ooh, Toni Storm's coming to SmackDown. Toni, what the f has she done?
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Oh, jeez, man.
Okay, but you're right. I'm a fan of Liv Morgan, and I think she needs to be pushed. I think she is one of the genuine baby faces in the women's division that the crowd, like, it is organically that they're cheering for her.
Yeah, but in a very like it's not overwhelming support like Becky Lynch had, and a lot of that is because she's not that polished in the ring yet. Liv and Carmella is not known to be a great worker either. So you put Liv Morgan versus Carmella, like from a purist standpoint, and don't want to watch that. From a storyline,
Who are you more excited to watch wrestle this week? Liv Morgan or Anna Jay?
probably NJ because they have at least a longer, albeit like side storyline, but at least there's a storyline going into that, the Penelope Ford NJ thing, right? So Liv Morgan, Carmella, they just started their thing. Well, technically it started way before that, but on and off. I don't really care about this match.
At the end of the day, I think Liv Morgan should take the victory, but this should be in the kickoff if it was up to me.
This should be on SmackDown.
Even better. Yeah, SmackDown, sure.
What the hell? You're telling me that you have no time for Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler match, a tag team match with some other tag team, but you have time for Liv Morgan versus Carmella.
Man, I rather watch the Alpha Academy. Bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or Otis, former Mr. Money in the Bank, done dirty, by the way. Chad Gable. I'd rather watch that. It's just sad. It's sad. Okay, Usos versus the Street Profits for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. From a wrestling standpoint, it's going to be a good match for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, very interesting because in the span of a week, they're gonna fight the Bloodline. Usos are gonna fight the New Day, and then they're gonna fight Street Profits.
Yeah.
So okay lah, they're keeping the Usos relatively like on top of the card.
Yeah, and relevant in that sense. Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss.
Ooh, there's a
So-
lot to unpack.
Not really. It's so sad. I kind of don't care.
No, why is there a lot to unpack? Is because like, of course, we started this episode talking about Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be any sort of impact on Charlotte Flair? And if
Oh.
Charlotte Flair is gonna drop the title, is people gonna like make the connection? Oh, it's because of the dad,
No,
or is
lah.
it because they've been wanting to go with Alexa Bliss all along?
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think that Charlotte Flair should suffer the sins of her father. This is nothing to do with Charlotte herself. You know. I mean, I think it will be very telling if the announcer announces her as Charlotte. You know, suddenly. Do you remember there was a time where they announced her as Charlotte and not
Yeah,
Charlotte Flair? And then,
In NXT.
yeah, in NXT. And then they brought it back the Flair name. And now, can you imagine? It's Charlotte. It's what? What happened to? Yeah, no.
Of course. But Alexa Bliss apparently is one of the top merchandise sellers in WWE because of the Lily dolls.
Oh, good lord. Okay, good for her then.
So like, I don't think that's going away anytime soon.
So okay, put her in a proper program then, and you know,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to talk about this anymore. I feel sad.
We don't hate Alexa Bliss, the
No,
talent. The
no, we
actress, the wrestler.
love Lexi Kaufman.
Yes, I more than love her. But anyway, but at the end of the day,
Bro, watch
She needs to-
what you say where you are.
anyway,
inside joke, never mind.
The good thing I think about this whole situation is that I want Alexa Bliss to be a centerpiece of the women's division.
Yes, yeah,
Like,
no.
I don't want her to like just be randomly like at one corner. Like she needs to be a prominent role in Raw because she's one of the most popular wrestlers in Raw on Raw.
Yes, she was the centerpiece for a while, and then they gave her a break, which is good, you know. But now that she's like this new character, she can definitely work to bring up other talent as well. Where is Rhea Ripley? Where is Nikki ASH? Where is
Shayna
Baszler, Nia Jax? Friggin' have Nia Jax fight Charlotte Flair again lah. No holds barred this time. Like real street fight.
No. In a lights out match.
Where they purposely would just hammer each other. Yeah, put her in the proper program. This time not with Doudrop or Eva Marie, and we're good, okay? Damian Priest versus Shamus.
I enjoyed the match that they had on Raw. I enjoyed the triple threat that they had with Drew McIntyre. I actually wanted Drew McIntyre to fight Damian Priest because that would have been a fresh matchup.
Yeah, isn't this a
But,
retread?
yeah.
So this seems to me like again lor. They had a good match, let's do it
Yeah.
again. But it's like, you know, whereas AEW is doing all sorts of crazy new fresh matches, this is like a lot of retreading here.
We know that one of WWE's big problem is that they keep repeating the matches until they are done to death, and it's so
Yeah.
unfortunate.
That being said, it should be a good match. I don't think Damian Priest is going to drop the title because he has a lot of momentum and he has been impressive on Raw. Finally, he's being given the spotlight. You know, I'm kind of wishing that they somehow put Johnny Drip Drip into the mix here, but he's another one of those guys. They're doing dirty too. It's like, you know, the Miz is gone. Oh, all of a sudden, John Morrison is just jobbing now.
Speaking of which, right? Damian Priest randomly made a return to NXT for the wedding, right? Or
Oh,
did I see that wrongly?
He was in the backstage segment, and of course they had to make fun of the whole like, oh, we need a priest for the wedding. Damian Priest. Then, you know, Austin
funny.
Theory said that, yeah, and it's like, okay lah, it
Yeah.
works lah. And on an interview,
But-
he was like, yeah, NXT is without NXT there would be no Damian Priest, so I had to come back for 2.0.
I was thinking about it, right? And I realized, right, if you think about it, Damian Priest is actually one of the better NXT debuts on the main roster in the last couple of years. And that's not really a high bar, but he has kind of transitioned
Yeah.
well into the main roster.
What are you talking about, bro? The best NXT to main roster transition has obviously been Fall
Don't say it.
and Pray.
Oh,
Fall
I knew you were going to say it.
Pray.
Oh, damn. I feel bad.
Fucking
Talk about AEW lah. Let's talk about AEW.
demolition cosplay mofo over there. What's he even doing? I don't even know. I probably just skipped his match on Raw or something. Okay, so I don't know which is going to be the main event, actually. Both have a lot of heat behind it. So it's going to be a toss-up. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus the Demon, Finn Balor. Okay, so he's brought back the Demon, spooky. Roman Reigns has kind of been no-selling it, honestly.
Yep.
Which is a bit like, I know he's this like head of the table, acknowledge me, I don't sweat shit. But I don't know. I feel like Finn has literally no chance here.
The problem is, I think they have already spoiled the result by announcing that Brock and Roman is going to fight at Crown Jewel.
And that's another one, right? It's obviously like, for them, it's a money thing. Like Brock is like, yeah, pay me, bitch. And they're going to do the Saudi thing. And yeah. Obviously,
I'm just scared they're going to do the Demon character dirty because he has never lost a match as the Demon. And if they're going to lose it just on this like so-called B feud, secondary feud, it's going to be like a disrespect, man.
At this point, right, I think Finn's like, don't care. I'm just waiting for my contract to run out. You know?
You know what? He deserves it, man. Because I tell you, Finn should have been a multiple-time world champion over and over.
Yeah, but nope. So the match itself will be a good match. You know, you have two very good talents in there, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor. It's just that you're right. We're going to see the Demon lose, and that character is going to be done dirty.
Yeah, and I'm not looking forward to that, even though I am looking forward to the match itself.
Unless WWE is all right, we need to swerve. We need something big and newsworthy, and the Demon wins. Can you imagine? Or wins via DQ or some bullshit finish.
So wins via DQ, but then retains the title as Roman Reigns?
Yeah, so he can still go to Crown Jewel to face the Brock Lesnar lah.
Yeah, I mean, that would make a lot of sense. And that would make the Demon want revenge. And he might even interfere in the match at Crown Jewel. So I believe the only way this can be salvaged is if the Demon still comes out with like a victory, even though it's a tainted one.
Yeah. And what that could lead to is a triple threat. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Finn Balor. So, I mean, in that case, you have Finn Balor who can take the loss and protect the beast. If Roman Reigns is to retain, right?
Or do you think that Brock Lesnar is somehow going to appear and affect the match towards the end of it?
He very well could, but it doesn't make sense for him.
They've been teasing about it though on SmackDown. Remember, they were saying that, do you know whether Brock Lesnar is going to appear on Extreme Rules? Can you confirm it? Remember, he said something like along those lines, Paul Heyman.
So if he interferes and causes and beats up Roman Reigns, for example, right? Then the Demon loses, making the Demon look like shit. Unless he just comes out and destroys everybody, and it's a no contest lah.
That's probably what I think could have happened. Like maybe towards the end where Finn Balor is about to win, Brock Lesnar comes in, interferes, throw the Demon out, and then or attacks Roman Reigns. I think there's a lot of permutations that we can go with lah.
Yeah, but I'm 100% sure that Roman Reigns is going to retain the title going into Crown Jewel. They're not going to be like, card subject to change. All of a sudden, it's Demon versus Brock. Yeah. At Crown Jewel.
The only way that this can be salvaged, like you mentioned, is the Demon can't take a clean loss, and that's the only thing that I care about. And how they go about it, up to them.
But bro, they don't care about what the fans think. They don't care about what you think, what I think. They care about, what they're doing. So more than likely what's going to happen is Roman Reigns is going to beat the Demon. That is probably what's going to happen.
We shall see. We shall see. I mean, unfortunately, we will have to wait and see.
Okay. I would like this to be the main event, actually, because now we're getting like ultra Conor McGregor inspired heel Becky versus Bianca Belair. And are you enjoying Becky Lynch as Conor McGregor Lynch?
Bro, I don't know, man. We've been talking about this all this while, right? Every time one of the wrestlers, the female wrestlers turn heel, right? They just become hotter. I don't know, bro. I just think Becky Lynch is damn hot right now. It's like maybe it's just the fact that she keeps showing off her midriff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, you do you, man.
Girls working in, huh? Yeah, I mean, it's not that far a stretch from who she previously was as a character, right? In fact, it was her turning heel that made her into a face. And then she started being two-faced, which made her a bit bland. And then, she went off, became a mom. And then now she's back. And she's like one of those, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, She's really hit that level of people enjoy her for who she is and not just whether she's face or heel. She's just who she is.
You can tell, right? She's really doing her best to try to make herself like the heel.
Yeah.
And in turn, right, it makes
Her
Bianca
cool.
Belair a bigger face.
Yeah, but it also makes her cool. So it's a weird situation to be in. Bianca still needs to find that groove where she can appeal to people with that X factor, you know?
Yeah. And also the thing about Bianca Belair is they are really pushing this like babyface narrative. They had her in her hometown last Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole interaction with Kia, that was pretty sweet and cute. She is great as a babyface, and you can see the potential there. But I believe she needs to keep her edge.
But bro,
she needs to keep her. You don't even go there. Like all those things she need to keep.
But bro, you know, for all of us who have watched NXT, her best work was as a heel. She had she had an edge. She was not a fresh meat. Oh, I'm doing it for my mom. Oh, people told me I couldn't do it and I did it. You know, kind of stuff. Like that for whatever reason, like people roll their eyes at that. It's like Kurt Angle coming out to the 3 eyes. You know, it's like
the thing is, but it's not the right timing because there is no legitimate face on SmackDown.
True.
Where the hell is Sasha Banks? No idea.
I mean, if Becky came back as a face and like really push this annoying face thing, and I think people would turn on her. Now that she's come back, you know, now that Becky has come back and amped up the heel, people are liking her more. But if they were, I don't want to say smart enough, but if they were willing to take a chance and purposely make Becky Lynch come back as a fresh meat baby face, I think the fans would actually turn on her and make her the de facto heel, and Bianca Belair becomes edgier, and then she would become the face. You know what I mean?
What does that say about our audience though? It's as if like we can't make up our minds somehow.
Yeah, no, it's like we like bad guys. We don't like the clean cut. It's what it is. You know, and I feel like Bianca is too clean cut. Like, oh hey, you know, no, we like our edgy characters like The Rock. Like to me, Bianca Belair it got a bit of Rocky Maivia vibes right now.
You have a good point. You know she can turn heel. You know she can amp it up. I think it's more of a matter of timing. Yeah, probably there might be a situation where they might switch. Becky might become face, or Bianca can become. But I believe that as of right now, Bianca Belair is like the most genuine baby face that WWE has. Like, can you think of another baby face like natural baby face that everyone loves? Maybe Big E, I guess. Yeah,
Dominic Mysterio.
Bro, nobody even watches wrestling for Dominic Mysterio right now.
Hey, what happened? Okay, so Drew is out of this card. Lashley is not on this card. Are they just giving them breaks to, you know, reset a bit?
I wouldn't put it past them to announce some last minute shit on Raw tomorrow. Yeah. On SmackDown, they might. You know what? There might even be a Big E versus Bobby Lashley, return match for Extreme Rules. They might even announce that.
Actually, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm just looking forward more to Survivor Series. I hope that they, you know, do some really cool cross-brand shit to at least make things interesting, lah.
If I'm not wrong, the draft is early part of October. So does that mean by the time Survivor Series rolls around, there is going to be new rosters?
That is quite dumb. That is quite freaking
dumb, right?
Dumb. Can you imagine they switch, and then it's like, oh, okay, actually you guys have been feuding for a long time already, but then now because you're on opposite brands, because the draft just happened, you'll fight again. It's like, can you imagine? Yeah. Can you imagine Drew gets drafted to SmackDown and then Survivor Series, Team Lashley versus Team Drew? Like, huh? We just saw that for the better part of...
before.
Yeah, like what? Okay, I hope they're not that dumb. Yeah.
Okay, so the couple, like last minute predictions, I think they should have Team RK Bro on the card somehow on Extreme. How can they be the most popular act from Raw outside of the card? That's one thing. True. Lashley needs to get his return match, even if it's a schmoz. And also, I believe there's gonna be a Big E. Big E's gonna factor into the card because we're gonna talk about a New Day versus the Bloodline somehow.
Or they could just blow it off on Monday because they are throwing everything at the wall right now. Okay, like interesting times. Like I'm actually looking forward to watching AEW more than WWE this week. And wow, this is kind of crazy times, huh? We're like switching back and forth. Bro, even though it's not the Monday Night Wars, it's still very much a great time in pro wrestling right now in terms of competition.
It's the most fun I've had in at least the last 5 years, for sure. And I hope, I don't know whether the rest of you guys agree on the chat, but I think really watching wrestling, switching back and forth, reading out about the dirt sheets is fun. It's really fun.
Plus, now that you think about it, remember we were talking about, they're going to run out of debuts. Actually, the way things are going, the way these contracts are supposedly just running out left, right, and center, and they're not locking them down, and they're just only focusing on their non-indie wrestlers, it's like, very soon, you're gonna have Prince Devitt is all elite, fucking Kevin Steen is all elite, El Generico is all elite. I mean, Wyndham Rotunda is all elite. That one we already kind of expect, right? So that's 4 more names that could show up, and who else? Who knows who else?
So right now, right, I really want to know, how is Tony Khan going to keep his very bloated roster happy? Is there going to be defections, not just from WWE to AEW? Is there ever going to be a defection from AEW to WWE?
Only big names, because the WWE will not freaking take like some indie rando. Like they are not going to take an Orange Cassidy. They are not going to take freaking Best Friends.
Yeah, but the one I really am curious to know is a lot of the initial AEW original contracts are gonna end towards the end of this year. They signed for 2-year contracts, 3-year contracts.
Yeah.
So because they're gonna get so much new talent, are they gonna finally release the likes of Joey Janela, Sonny Kiss, fucking Peter Avalon? Like, are they gonna release all these people, or is Tony Khan is such a nice angel that he wants to keep everyone happy? What do you think?
You forgot the MVP of AEW, bro. I don't believe it. I don't believe you forgot this man who has single-handedly held up the interest in AEW's product for the past year.
I know who you're talking about, bro.
Who?
QT Marshall.
Yes, how dare you forget the name QT Marshall? You should be ashamed of yourself, bro.
Bro, clearly QT Marshall is going to debut at the Royal Rumble next year. Number 1 entrant, bro. Number 1.
3. Like some generic shit music plays and then the crowd dies. Like, who the f is this guy?
The crowd goes mild.
QT. Yeah, not so much. Freaking. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like what? TNA is going to have a lot of new spots. Wait, is Braun Strowman going to TNA? I saw a post.
No news of Braun. No, he's gonna do an appearance for EC3. I don't know what match is it. Some indie match, but it's not gonna be. He hasn't been signed by any major companies yet.
I'm surprised that he hasn't found a home yet. Maybe he's just waiting for the WWE to call him back, or
either that, or they're waiting for them to AEW to fire Lance Archer and replace it with another big guy.
Lance Archer will be fine. He'll just go back to doing his Japan stuff, and then switching his heel face status every week.
Oh my god! But yeah, you're right. Like AEW's roster is getting more exciting, but it's also getting very bloated. So they need to watch that, and they need to streamline it eventually.
Well, I mean, that's why they have AEW Dark, AEW Elevator, and who knows? Maybe they come out with a new, show that Big Show and Mark Henry can call.
Sure, why not? As long as Chris Jericho is not on commentary 24/7, I think I'm fine.
He can be on commentary on Dark. I don't care. I don't watch Dark, so whatevs. It's all good, bro.
Man.
So there you go. Like I mentioned earlier, next week we might be doing the podcast on a Tuesday instead. Stay tuned to our social medias. We'll keep you updated because next Monday, in fact, we are both in the same course. So we'll be busy doing adult stuff. Not that kind of adult stuff. Yes. We'll be studying. So,
speaking of adult stuff, this week's episode is on Chris Canyon.
What?
Remember?
What Chris Canyon? Huh?
Is it? Do you know Canyon? Canyon?
Yeah, Canyon.
Yeah. So this week's Dark Side of the Ring episode is gonna be on Canyon.
Oh, okay, right. Interesting. Yeah.
And also, Canyon is such an interesting story because do you know this? What happened to him? Right.
He committed suicide, right?
He committed suicide, yes, and he was actually one of the first closeted gay wrestlers during the Attitude Era.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, so I think he had that issue, and also I read the Young Bucks autobiography. So apparently Kenyon was a mentor to the Young Bucks when they were young, and
Really? Yeah.
actually Kenyon was helping them as they were kids, right, going through the industry. But he also actually had a crush on Matt Jackson, bruh.
Okay, that sounds very
Bro.
sus. Bro, this sounds very sus.
I know. So like I just say, like if they were to mention all this in the episode, it's gonna be very interesting watch.
And meanwhile, you hear Chris Jericho's voice narrating this. I wonder if they'll interview the Young Bucks.
Young Bucks, yeah, we'll never know. But that's one thing. And apparently, do you know who's the new guest for Broken Skull Sessions? I think it's either this weekend or next weekend.
It's Randy, isn't it?
No. Randy was on the show before.
Who is it?
Apparently, okay, it's supposed to be John Cena, but I think they shelved the episode for a later time.
Okay.
But this week's one is gonna be Seth freaking Rollins.
Okay, that will be interesting. Yes,
That will be very interesting.
Seth is like doing the best work he's been ever doing. I feel with his I don't know. It's like a combination of his Messiah and his architect
Trick
gimmick.
God.
Yeah. Like okay lah, can lah. Interesting. I just wish that he was in some kind of higher upper mid card feud, like.
Yeah, he's like the guy having good matches with everyone right now. But I think he eventually will return to the world title feud, hopefully.
Correct. And like now he's just having like dream matches with Edge and stuff like that. But you know he needs to bring up somebody else at this point and not just have his dream matches. So anyway, that's a conversation for a different time. Okay, that's all the wrestling we're going to talk about today. There's always more, but we don't have 10 hours.
Yeah, I wish we had, but I tell you what, bro, we might have to do like a long live stream, like during an actual pay-per-view. I think the people that is joining us might be a bit crazy.
Wow, freaking have to wake up at 8 a.m. just to do a live stream. Wow, that is a lot of commitment. But if there's something you want us to do, please let us know in the chat or slide into our DMs and let us know. Maybe we can even put up a poll on our Insta stories.
Yeah. Hopefully, and we get to thank everyone for joining us today on today's episode. Is it me or is the chat a bit quiet today? Because you didn't get a lot of shout-outs.
You're just looking for your own shout-outs, is it? I think at this point,
bro.
At this point, because we are at 2 p.m. Everyone's like done with lunch and just chilling out in the office. Maybe taking an afternoon nap to our beautiful voices. So if you missed out on anything we've said, you can always check out the Spotify podcast or the podcast on Apple Podcasts.
And of course, you can always watch this on replay once this episode is over. Thank you for 100 subscribers. We need more. We need to keep growing the YouTube channel, yeah?
Absolutely. Do us a favor, hit subscribe, hit like if you haven't already done so. Okay, we'll see you again next week to review WWE Extreme Rules. Unfortunately, I'm not that excited about that, but we'll review AEW Grand Slam as well. That's what we'll do. All right.
Yes.
So
hopefully.
Yeah. In the meantime, have a great rest of your Monday. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. It's Mr. Young.
And it's far in the building. Take care.